In this video, I'm going to share with you the study materials which I use and also what I recommend, okay? So the first one is you need to build something that is lean in terms of your stack of study. So in terms of core materials, you need your 34-hour course. I can tell you, the moment you finish this course, you have covered close to in my own opinion, close to about 80% of this. So when you are here, you have covered almost 80% during the course. Then the rest of the weeks, you are just practicing and linking up some concepts which might not be clear to you. For example, your course is going to cover both predictive, hybrid, and agile, which is mostly what you should expect. Your course is also going to cover your processes that you need, people management, the skills that you need, and also is going to cover the business environment. Then the other material that you have to look into is the examination content outline. You can also download this from PMI. So this is from PMI, okay? Oh, sorry, my handwriting is not that good. So this is from PMI. Then your companion also is going to be your PMBOK. So PMBOK, make sure you are going through the latest PMBOK that we have for that specific exam. And also, you are also going through the Agile Practice Guide, which is this particular book, and you need that to progress. Then you also need an exam prep or course summary that you should have. Like I'm telling you, I was also using the exam simulator. That was also very, very helpful because it has got so many questions. Remember I told you I went through so many questions, more than 600 to 1,000.2. So this will also help you. Then you need a simulator. This is what I was referring to. You need an exam simulator. Don't try to avoid this. Even if it means you're paying a small amount or you're paying a certain amount, you still need the simulator. The simulator gives you the environment of the exam. It can also help you to build the stamina because you're going to sit for the exam for 180 questions for 4 hours. You practice for 60 questions for 80 minutes. You practice. So make sure you also have that one. Then in terms of supporting documents, which is also very important, is you must have your personal notes or flashcards. Don't make the mistake I've seen some other guys doing and they ended up failing. They're just reading the examination study guides or study documents as if they're reading a notebook, as if they're reading a novel. So it's quite important that you don't take it that way. Always make sure you're jotting down some notes because these are the notes that you're going to read and go through as you prepare for exam. You don't need the complete book, but only your notes. They can remind you of a certain concept. Then mindset. Mindset is very important. We're going to cover that in the next slides. So just hang on that. Then process groups and the artifacts. There are 5 process groups in the PMP exam study. The initiate process group, then the planning process group, then the execution process group, monitoring and control process group, and also the closing process group. So make sure you also understand them very well, and the artifacts, which means the ITTOs, the inputs, the tools, the techniques, and the outputs. You also need to master for each and every process group. To master, not to memorize. Then you need to understand the agile roles. There are basically 3 of them. You have your product owner, who is responsible for the features of the product, prioritizing the product backlog, creating the product backlog, and also even refining the product backlog. Then the other agile role that you must also know is also on the Scrum Master. Some they want to call them Agile Project Manager, the one who's going to be responsible for supporting the team. Remember, in the Agile setup, the team is self-organizing, but removing impediments, removing blockers, that will be done by the Agile Project Manager or the Scrum Master. Then there are so many events that you have to also understand in the Agile. They are all contained in the Agile Practice Guide, which I was talking about here. So these events, for example, you have your daily meetings, which are supposed to take about 15 minutes or so. You have your sprint planning meetings. You also have your sprint review meetings. You also have your benefits or product log refinement process. You also have your retrospective meetings and so on and so forth. Then you should also understand all the artifacts that you should have. For example, your product backlog, your sprint backlog. You also need to make sure that all those items, you understand them very well. Now, this one is the cracker, I can tell you. As you go through the PMP study, you're going to be making mistakes, you're going to be creating wrong answers, and so on and so forth. So always make sure you create a mistake log. The advantage of having this mistake log is each time you want to make a reference or you want to read more on a certain topic or concept, you go to your mistake log, take the specific mistakes that you are making, and then you read about it, then you try another exam. So this is quite important that you keep this log. Most people, they don't keep them, and therefore it confuses them in terms of what they are supposed to read. So it's important that you always update this mistake log. It will help you to revise what you need. In this particular section, we are going to cover how to use the materials without getting lost. Like I said earlier, there are so many materials for PMP online and also in printed form. So you don't want to be confused. You want to make sure you're focused and you want to make sure that you're able to also pass your exam. So the first one is you must make sure that your exam content outline, you have it. Start with it. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. Exam content outline. You can download it from PMI website. It tells you what the exam is trying to assess, which is very, very important. You need to know what the exam is trying to assess. This is very important. You cannot just read and read when you're preparing for an exam. You need to know how the exam structure is going to look like. What are you going to be tested on? What are you going to be assessed on? And then you move on. Then do not read passively. Okay? What does that mean? Which means you have to convert each topic into what should a PM do. This is very important. Most of the questions you're going to get are mostly or probably on what should the PM do either first, what should the PM do either next, or what should the PM do in this situation. So as you read, you need to understand and you need to master what exactly is the PM supposed to do in such a scenario. Then after every question, okay, you need to classify it either as a knowledge gap to yourself, or it's a mindset gap, or it's a reading mistake. This is very important. So let's start with knowledge gap. When you go through a certain question, you might discover that you have answered it wrongly. What does it mean? It means probably you didn't understand the concept properly. You didn't understand even the processes. You didn't even understand some of the roles of the PM, like the integration part of it, or some domains, for example, stakeholder domain, risk domain, or even procurement, and so on and so forth. So when you go through these materials, always try to classify after every question. Was it a knowledge gap issue? How did I get it wrong? Was it a mindset issue? Was it a reading mistake? I can tell you most of the time it's a mindset and reading mistake. So always practice and make sure you get those ones right. Then you also need to review the questions, explanations more than scores. Having explanations for a certain question is very important. It helps you to also pick areas where you need to improve. It will also help you to see where to revise and where to focus more for you to get it right the next time. Then what you also need to do for you not to get lost is you need to stop adding resources. There are so many resources. Try to get those 4 resources that I was talking about. Your PMBOK, your latest edition for your exam. You also need your processes, practice book, and also your agile practice guide. And then the PMP forms document, you can also get that copy.